The views and opinions expressed on the Honest Answer Radio Show are the opinions of Honest Answer Media and no one else. If you're hearing a syndicated broadcast of this show, don't hold it against the broadcaster. Rather, congratulate them on their openness, tolerance, and respect for the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America. Thank you very much.
There's something happening here, but what it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Welcome one more time to Honest Answer Radio here at honestanswerradio.com. I'm going to be the Marty half tonight.
And on this Thursday evening edition of honestanswerradio.com, I will be the Casey half.
Woohoo! Hey, man. There's so much going on right now. I know it's a bummer that we got to, limit ourselves, but we're going to have to narrow the scope a little bit tonight. This really just chaps my butt, man, that we're going to have to talk about it.
Are you going to talk about the NFL?
I ain't got no choice. Man, and it ain't just the NFL that I'm talking about. It's the whole protest mentality that is just chapping my behind so bad right now that I can't even stand to sit down. I mean, the NFL thing, all right, that's a big one. It's a big one. Monday on October the 4th, or is it November 4th?
It's November 4th.
November the 4th,
Remember the 4th of November.
That's right, Guy Fawkes, that's right. We got that to look forward to. Antifa is planning a nationwide day of resistance, protests, anarchy, and violence.
In
order to get this country back on the right track, right?
Well, no. If you listen to some of these people who are with Antifa, there's no right track that they really want to put the country back on. They want to demolish the system. They want to break our democratic institutions and destroy them and then completely rebuild them in the image of anarcho-communism.
Right. Now, if you confront them with this information, of course that's not what's going on. You're just being a paranoid right-winger.
Unless you're that long-necked dude that Tucker Carlson ripped apart, and Kennedy from Fox.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot remember the dude's name. I'm glad he's a professor at John Jay University.
Yeah, I wouldn't say his name on the air anyway. I mean, I'm not going to give the guy any airtime.
But, I mean, he just makes no bones about it. He says he's proud to instruct future dead cops.
Yeah. See, and that brings me to the NFL. See, all right. I've heard from some of the NFL players saying that this protest ain't about the military, man. It's just we love the military. We're not trying to disrespect the military. Some of our players are in the military. This is about unity and standing together, man, against the common enemy. Well, see, the part that they're not saying while they're busy virtue signaling that they love the military, it's the police that they have a problem with. After all, that's what Colin Kaepernick's whole spiel was, right? Going to take a knee to stand in protest of dirty cops.
And wear those socks with the pig dressed in a police uniform.
Yeah. So spare me I'm just trying to protest against injustice. All right. I don't know how many police officers there are in the country. I ain't got a clue, ain't seen the numbers, and don't really need to. But I would be willing to bet out of all of the cops, if I had to put a percentage number on the amount of bad, the number of bad cops, percentage-wise, and these are the cops that get off on pulling people over. These are the cops that,
that get off on beating the crap out of people just because they had a bad day.
And there are some cops that just got it in for black folks. Can we all? Well, I agree that there are cops that don't like people that ain't white. All right, I'll give you that. But let's look at how many there are before you can go off on this self-righteous protest and taking a knee against bad police. Are you taking a knee against the fact that there's 70% bad police, 60%, 50%, 40%, 30%? I would be willing to bet you're in the low single numbers when it comes to bad cops. Single digit percentages here. And I'm going on like 1%, 2%.
The funny thing is I've had conversations in the past, and you probably have too, where we're talking to actual police officers completely off the record, off camera, off microphone, et cetera, and they tell you, yeah, we got some bad ones. We all know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And we all try to keep them away from circumstances that trigger them.
And when they do something that is against the rules, guess what?
They usually make them pay.
Really, there's the only people that's got it worse than child molesters and rapists in prison would be former cops. I mean, it's not like there's this. They want to make it out like Colin Kaepernick, the NFL players and everything. They want to make it out like there's this huge nationwide epidemic of racist, dirty cops that are out there shooting black people at random just because they're black. Every time a black suspect is shot by the police, doesn't matter what color they are anymore, at least they've gotten that part out. That now it ain't just racist white cops, it's racist cops, because in quite a few of the more recent police shootings, the cop that did the shooting wasn't a white cop. But every time there is a police shooting, we got a protest because another black person got shot. It doesn't matter that they had a weapon. It doesn't matter that they were aiming it at police. It doesn't matter that they were leading police on 90-mile-an-hour high-speed chases. It doesn't matter that they were endangering the lives of the general public. They shouldn't have shot them.
Well, now, you were saying that some of those cops are not. You're forgetting about the white Hispanic cops.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about them, the white Hispanic ones.
There may be Hispanic
ones, yeah.
and everything, but if they shoot, they're the white Hispanic cops.
Yeah. And while we're all taking our knee in the NFL, and I've seen this point brought up a lot on social media over the past week or so, and it is a very, very valid point. How come is it that Colin Kaepernick can get down on his knee and raise his fist in protests against all these dirty cops? And that's okay, because that's Kaepernick's and the NFL players' right to express themselves and protest peacefully and nonviolently. It's their right. How come it wasn't Tim Tebow's right to take a knee
and pray,
or to take a knee just to honor his God publicly? Why was that not his freedom of expression? Because believe me when I say they made no bones about letting people know, hey, this is why we can't have Tim Tebow here. It wasn't because he sucked. Remember when he came in and played for Denver ahead of Peyton Manning before Peyton Manning got there?
Yep.
He did good.
Yep, sure did.
He was not a crappy quarterback. I would go so far as to say he had better numbers than Colin Kaepernick. Where's Tim Tebow now? Oh, that's right. He's not in the NFL because he was taking his knee in his nonviolent freedom of expression in the end zone. Not even during the national anthem. Not anywhere, that he was like where it was like this solemn moment where he would be disrespecting anybody.
Well, here's the thing. You know where Tim Tebow is right now?
Kicking butt in baseball.
Yeah, and raising the numbers in minor league attendance for the team for which he plays.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and Colin Kaepernick has gone to Nigeria.
Is he going to stay?
Certainly. It's either Nigeria. It's one of those. It's one of the really, really bad African countries. It's like seriously under the thumb of a dictator.
And he's experiencing freedom.
Exactly. See, maybe it's Guyana. Or Ghana. Maybe that's where he's at. I don't know. But no matter how you slice it, he has gone to a Muslim country and turned his back on everything here in this one. All because
he's got his facts wrong?
Because he got his facts wrong. And because he's never bothered to get the facts right. All of the people that standing in unity with these people, if you notice, they all have that common denominator. They're not interested. Yeah, well, they're not interested in statistics. They're not interested in any of the numbers. They're not interested in whether or not their point is justified or their protest is justified. They could care less. One of the players that they interviewed this week, and his response to it all was bye. That's his response to the NFL fans that are pissed off because they're taking this knee. Bye. Well, there you go. Bye. See ya. That's exactly what's happening.
Wait, that's to the people who pay his paycheck.
Exactly. They don't feel like they're doing anything wrong. Or either that, or they don't care whether or not they're doing anything wrong. One guy did it. He was a person of color. So therefore, the entire system is rigged against him, and it's all racist. And we saw it this Sunday, I believe Sunday or Monday, when the Cowboys were when the Cowboys owner Jerry Jones came out before the game. Okay, it was before they undid the flag and before they did the national anthem. They did like a little quick kneel down, but then they stayed standing for the national anthem. I think the Packers are playing tonight, and they're all saying that they're gonna stand now. Like the Packers are gonna stand because their fans have been writing in and being pretty merciless about things. See, this is what the NFL don't understand. If your protest was justified, odds are the entire country would be with you, or at least a good half of the country. And this ain't even something that's half
1961.
No.
Okay, Bull Connor. Look, the daisies that Bull Connor pushed up are already dead now.
Yeah.
Okay. There is no epidemic of cops shooting black men. As a matter of fact, police shootings of black men are down.
Yeah.
Okay.
The shootings of white guys, though, they're down
up.
too, right?
No, they're
up.
No, they're up.
But it's okay because they're white guys, right?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
As long as they're white guys,
they're just
white
right. People, and probably straight white men too.
Straight white cis non-binary white guys at that.
Yeah, the straight white man is the straight white man of straight white men.
Right. Now, here's what they're not getting, though. Here's what they're not getting. If the people were behind them, would their attendance be down? No. If the people were behind them, would the Nielsen ratings be down?
No.
If the people were behind them, would DirecTV be offering refunds on their NFL packages? And by the way, let me go ahead and answer that. They've never done it before, so no. They didn't do it last year.
I tell you what, when I'm not into professional football. It's been years since I even gave a riff about pro football.
Right.
Okay. But I still love football. When I turn on the college games on Saturday, I really want to forget about politics for 2 hours.
Well,
I mean, I want to watch, believe it or not, I want to watch some sports.
yeah, I want to watch some 300-pound men beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, I mean, I want to watch them bodies just crushing into each other, them big sweaty men. I mean, I don't want politics with it.
Right? Look, man, there are a lot of people on social media that's like, you know what, I'm just disgusted. I could really care less about your protest, but the fact that you're ruining football, no, I'm done. Long-time viewers. Rush Limbaugh missed a football game for the first time in 45 years. First time in 45 years he hadn't watched an NFL game on Sunday night. 45 years. So tell me, guys, is your protest going to be worth it when nobody's buying your jerseys? When nobody's tuning into your games? When nobody wants to come and watch you? You know, for a bunch of people that seem to value inclusion, tolerance, and diversity, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of diversity of opinion when it's going, you know, here amongst the NFL and they're everybody that's backing them. They don't want that diversity of opinion.
Well, here's the challenge. Show me the systemic institutional racism. I'm going to pull a Ben Shapiro here and say, I tell you what, you show me the institutional and systemic racism, I will stand shoulder to shoulder with you to fight it.
Absolutely.
Show me.
99% of the population would, man. That's just it. That's what they're not. They refuse to own up to it. But we all know, though.
It's because we're trying to have this conversation.
It's just a tactic, man. This is just another tactic of the left. This is exactly what their whole plan is to get everybody so tied up in knots. You know, the left specializes in culling people out into little groups. Yeah. And then pitting those groups against one single group. See, that's how they feel like they're united. They're all united against one common enemy, white guys.
Well, you know what, man?
Or white straight guys.
If you're united in hatred, what do you got? I mean, really.
The Nazis, the Klan, Aryan Brotherhood, the Black Panther movement.
SDS.
Yeah.
Weathermen.
The Weathermen Underground. Yeah. That's usually what you got. Yeah.
Okay.
Saddam Hussein's regime, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, the Taliban.
Hamas.
Hezbollah. Yeah. See, all of those, they're all united in hatred. Every one of them.
Huh.
And it's funny because they all point at us and tell the world that we're the ones that are hating when we're the ones trying to have the conversations. You know, that's what they refuse to recognize.
You mean a conversation as opposed to yelling at people?
Well, now.
Beating on 5-gallon drums and squirting those air horns out.
You know what I miss?
That's not our side.
You know what I miss, man?
What?
I miss the hippies.
You remember, I think it was Hunter Thompson was talking about the old Haight-Ashbury scene in San Francisco where the people would get on these buses to go down into Haight-Ashbury to look at the freaks, and the hippies would run up and hold mirrors up at the bus to show people who the real freaks were.
Yep.
Okay, they had a sense of humor. They were creative. You know, their whole peace and love stuff was crap.
Of course it was.
But at least there was ingenuity behind it. At least there was the playfulness.
And it was at least peaceful.
Yeah.
See, the hippies, they didn't try to tear up stuff. They didn't try to burn no cities down. They didn't try to bust out no windows or anything like that. And yet, they still managed to get thousands of people to their protests or whatever. Look at the civil rights movement. Another peaceful movement where they fought by peaceful disobedience.
And they weren't unified by hatred.
No. They were preaching love. When people were hitting them in the face with rocks and 2x4s and sicking the dogs on them and beating them with fire hoses, they sang. They sang.
They sang, "We shall overcome."
They fought hatred with love and prayer and Jesus.
And who won? Who won?
Exactly. You know, I'm even getting reminiscent for the good old days of Occupy Wall Street. You remember them dirty hippies that sat up in Central Park?
Yeah, all they did was poop on the cop cars.
Yeah,
At least they didn't set them on fire.
They had their drum circles and everything, you know, and they would chant. Remember how they go, mic check, mic check? Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Man, that was great. That was good entertainment. These days, they're running down the streets with 2x4s and sticks with nails in the end, Molotov cocktails, bottles with fireworks in them so that they'll explode.
Wait, I noticed something this week, just so that we can actually have a laugh here. You know, Yvette Falarka, you know who I'm talking about?
Oh, God, yes.
Okay, well, you know, she got arrested.
Yep.
At the protest in Berkeley. And now this is what's great. I think it was the Daily Mail over in the UK.
Uh-huh.
They got her name wrong. The whole freaking article, they were calling her Yvonne Falarka.
Oh, don't you know her head is just spinning around, man.
For a leftist protester trying to draw attention to themselves, and the newspaper gets their name wrong through the whole article. Oh, it was beautiful, man. Just absolutely beautiful. You
know how you were saying they would that back in the day they would sing "We Shall Overcome," the civil rights movement, right?
Yeah.
Well, last week when they was doing the protesting for this week when they were protesting Free Speech Week over at Berkeley, it was the conservatives. It was the conservatives that were singing "We Shall Overcome."
And by the way, before we get too far, I just want to say congratulations, Steve Scalise, for reporting for duty after 3 months of being in recovery for being shot in the hip. Today he went back to Congress for the first time on crutches, but he went back to work.
Man.
Now they had to put his hip back together, like he said it was like Humpty Dumpty. You know, they had to glue and stitch and plate and weld, and I think they had arc welders in the operating room to get him back together. But he reported back to work today, and if just in case anybody has forgotten, it was one of those right-wing terrorists that shot. Wait,
no, it wasn't. Afraid not, man. No.
It was a leftist?
It was a leftist. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, man, but it was a leftist. And now this week, here it is. Let me play this little audio clip here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and warn you, there might be some bad language in this clip, all right? I'm taking this one straight out of YouTube, so if you got them delicate ears and you can't stand to hear naughty words, you may want to be like going during this one, okay? So here we go. Check. This was at Berkeley this week. This is Antifa turning on Antifa.
That's like the height of white performativeness. Like, if you're really an ally, like, you just punch allies. You risk going to jail for the fact that they have a platform. You don't need, like, don't even give them the satisfaction of outing. Just punch. Yeah. I told you to do the work. Yeah. Punch a Nazi, stop being performative. Punch a Nazi, stop being performative. Punch a Nazi, stop yelling about it. Be about the shit. If you're a white ally.
I'm trying to get kicked out. I am. I've been fucking fighting for like 3 months. I put myself at risk of arrest all the time. Somebody threw a fucking megaphone at me.
Okay, you probably couldn't hear that very well, but let me tell you what's happening here. This broad goes up to her fellow Antifa and telling him that he should be using his whiteness, all right,
Yeah.
to fight harder. Now, this little dweeb is pleading. I mean, he's pleading with this woman, telling her, I've been fighting for 3 months. I got hit in the head with a megaphone. I mean, he's justifying his violence, that he's trying to let this woman know, hey, I'm one of you. I've been fighting with you. And she's like, it's not enough. You got to go be about this stuff, bro. What?
She's using the word performative. What the heck? Now, see, y'all are just making stuff up.
They just
You're just
making it up.
making up words. Go be performative, bro. If you're going to be an ally, be performative. What?
In other words, what she's trying to say is, hey, look, I want you to go launch yourself at a bunch of those conservatives over there and get your behind kicked really, really bad while I sit back here and chant.
And I'll be right behind you.
Yeah.
Way behind you.
Yeah. And you know what? I found out, too, this week that Black Lives Matter cannot be sued. Did you know that? That was on the Drudge Report just today. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to grab the headline real quick. I want you to see it. Don't believe me. Please don't believe me. Go look this up for yourself. Go to the Drudge Report. On the first column there on the left, Judge, Black Lives Matter can't be sued. This is from WRAL.com. In Baton Rouge, Louisiana, a federal judge ruled that Black Lives Matter is a social movement, like the Tea Party or the Civil Rights Movement, and therefore can't be sued. Huh. How about that? I guess you know what they can, though. I found out, too, during the Obama administration, that while they can't be sued, like the Tea Party couldn't be sued, you know, what they can do is sick the IRS on them and keep them from getting any money.
No, they can't, because they're a leftist group.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I'm sorry.
How are you going to get the leftists in the IRS to go after other leftists?
Yeah. Now, take note, though. It was a U.S. district judge.
No.
All right. It wasn't the Supreme Court. It wasn't Louisiana's Supreme Court. It was just a district judge. And you know how these things work. It doesn't mean that that's the only...
that's not the final word.
No, it's definitely not the final word. He was specifically suing... what's the guy's name? DeRay Mackison. DeRay Mackison. He's like the self-appointed leader of the Black Lives Matter movement. And see, that the guy, he wasn't just suing Black Lives Matter. He was suing Black Lives Matter and DeRay Mackison. Now, the federal judge said he can't sue Black Lives Matter. But it doesn't say that he said he couldn't sue Maxson. So, I don't know. I would say he's got a pretty good suit because somebody got killed as
Was that one of the stabbings, or was it a shooting?
Well, they were protesting crap. What was that? Alton Sterling.
Oh, yeah.
Alton Sterling shooting.
Uh-huh.
And there were some, it wasn't, I don't think anybody, let me make sure.
This was down in Baton Rouge,
yeah,
right?
It wasn't that they got killed. It was that people got hurt. They rioted. And this guy was hurt himself in the riots. So he was suing. Now, I think the guy's got a valid case. At least against DeRay Maxson. So, who knows? Who knows? Hoy, hoy, hoy. All right, look, I've had enough. I've had enough of that silliness. I'm ready to get into some meat and potatoes because we left everybody hanging last week.
Well, we did.
We did.
Intentionally.
Yeah. If you didn't get to tune in last week, I'll catch us up because I do got to make a correction. And yeah, we are starting this earlier than usual because this is a lot of information. Last week when we were telling you about this little paradigm that we've come upon, taken from the scriptures in the Bible, from First and Second Kings,
and Second Chronicles. I think starting around chapter 22. I think.
Yeah. We have found a little correlation between the biblical characters, or biblical, what would you call the biblical, characters, whatever. Jezebel, Ahab, King Ahab, Joram, who was Ahab and Jezebel's son,
right?
One of their sons, and another person by the name of Jehu. Now, King Ahab was a Hebrew. He married Jezebel, who was a Phoenician who worshipped Baal. Yeah, she was a temple high priestess of Baal, and she really didn't like the Jews. She couldn't stand the fact that they only worshipped one God, and that the God that they worshipped didn't want them having premarital sex, and didn't want people giving in to the flesh, if you will. She couldn't stand that. And the correlation, if you take those people, Ahab, Jezebel, Jehu, and Joram, and you substitute Jezebel with Hillary Clinton, Ahab with Bill Clinton,
Joram with Barack Obama, and Jehu with Donald Trump, we come up with a really, really, really cool story. And the numbers, this is what really gets me, man. The numbers of Ahab's reign and Bill Clinton's reign, spot on. The number of years that Jezebel stayed in the political spotlight versus the number of years Hillary Clinton stayed in the political spotlight, spot on. The fact that they had a ruler in between Ahab and Joram, which was Joram's older brother, he got killed after a couple of years, but there was a ruler in between, much like there was between Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. And the number of years just about tallies.
Yep.
Okay. The rule of Barack Obama started with his rise as a senator through his presidency is a total of about 12 years.
Yep.
Which that's about the reign of King Joram. Was about 12 years.
Which is actually, that's where we left off, was with Joram. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
See, that was that's where we'll be picking up tonight. Ahab had messed up, remember? And Elijah the prophet had come to him and said, look, you did some stuff in the eyes of God that wasn't cool. God ain't happy about it. Your rule's about over. What it amounted to was Ahab wanted a vineyard, right? And back in them days, property couldn't, like, if you were the eldest son and your dad dies and leaves you some land, right? You couldn't give that land away because that land was family land.
Right, right.
According to Jewish law, you couldn't give it away. Ahab really didn't care about that part. Ahab said, I want the vineyard. And Jezebel said, well, why don't you just take the vineyard? So,
and he says, well, I can't really do that, honey. That ain't right. And she said, you ain't a man.
You ain't a man.
If you don't go take that land, Ahab.
Uh-huh. And so Ahab did. He killed the guy to take his land. And when he killed the guy, Elijah told him. That's when Elijah came to him and said, okay, now you done it. God's mad at you. He ain't going to take you out right now, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you.
Your children are going to pay the price.
Uh-huh. And you and her, like, where you spilled this blood, you and your children's blood will be spilled right there. So go ahead and get used to that idea. Ahab got killed in battle, and his reign was over. That took Jezebel out of the spotlight, much like Hillary was out of the spotlight when Bill, you know, when
For a little while.
Yeah, when
For
his
a
time
little
was
while.
up, she had to figure out what she was going to do with herself. So she you know, she was going to go and run for Senate, which she did successfully. She won.
And
Well,
see, Jezebel backed out of the main picture for a while, but she never left the seat of power. Much like Hillary Clinton. What happened with Hillary Clinton? Oh, she went to go be a senator.
That's right. She never got out of the halls of power. And after Ahab died, Jezebel still stayed around. You know, she was an advisor. They had an older son. I can't really pronounce his name. It starts with an A. It's like Ahaziel or something like that. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it was, what his name was. But I know his reign was cut short because he got shot in the throat. Now, behind him comes this other guy, Joram, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Joram was he was a lot easier to deal with than the other guy, than Ahaziah, whatever, his big brother.
Mm-hmm.
He was easier to deal with. And Jezebel, you know, he was kind of like her favorite anyway. And she stayed in his ear about one of the first things that he did, you know, was that when Joram came into power, the whole thing about the worshipers of Baal sacrificing their children, at that time it was still kind of taboo. See, Ahab, while he did wrong in the sight of God, and he let Jezebel pretty much have her way with the Baal stuff and everything, he was still kind of nervous about it all, you know. He still recognized Yahweh God, right?
Right.
Now, Joram, on the other hand...
Can we just start calling him Joram Obama?
Joram, when he ascended to the throne, it's not necessarily in the scriptures that Jezebel put this one in his head, you know. But remember, she was never far away. And when Joram gets into the throne, one of the first things he does is say, all right, everybody kill your baby. We got to we trying to make Baal happy. You want Baal to be happy? You got to give up your children. So ladies, form a line. Start dropping your baby into the golden brazier. Let's light them kids up. It was like a big circus thing. Jezebel even brought in more high priests and priestesses of Baal. The temple got built, you know, Baal's temple got just
Really built
up and made even more scattered more temples all throughout the place.
And the sacrifice of the children was celebrated.
Big time.
Huh, is this sounded familiar?
Well, you know, it's kind of funny. Barack Obama took office January the 20th, 2009, right?
Right.
First measure, let's see here. One of the first things that Barack Obama did...
The Hyde Amendment, wasn't it?
Uh-huh. Yeah, one of the first things he did was take away some of the
restrictions on abortion.
Exactly. One of the first things. Another thing that he did when Obama first got into office was make the statement that the United States no longer a Christian nation. He said that out loud.
Ooh.
Now, according to Obama and his acolytes, that was a misread on the teleprompter. Because after he said the United States is no longer a Christian, or isn't a Christian nation, he said something along the lines of, at least not anymore, or something like that. And the way it was supposed to have been worded differently in the teleprompter, and he's saying that was just a little slip of the tongue, but I don't remember him ever reiterating that it was a slip of the tongue or that the United States was, in fact, a Christian nation.
Yeah, I don't think he ever really corrected himself, on that. And, it's kind of funny. This whole thing with Baal. Baal is like a god of fertility and prosperity.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the symbols of Baal all through New York City during the reign, things that came up in the reign of Obama. Again, I don't want y'all to be taking my word for this, Marty's word for this, or even Rabbi Jonathan Cahn, which I put the videos up last week for you to watch, because Jonathan Cahn is the one who put this together. This is the where Marty and I are getting this, but the scriptures are there.
There, and there's another really, I left something huge out.
What's that?
During Ahab's reign, there was another character involved. His name was Ben-Hadad. Now, Ben-Hadad...
is that Ben-Hadad?
Yeah. He was not high up on God's list of favorite people. As a matter of fact, God told Elijah, and Elijah went to Ahab and said, hey, this Ben-Hadad guy, you're going to have to take him out. God wants you to take this guy out. Because if you don't, he will kill you. Well, Ben-Hadad, the way Elijah worded it was like he was going to bring the nation down, or bring calamity to your nation. Ben-Hadad did invade.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. As a matter of fact, it was during a battle with Ben-Hadad that Ahab let him go one time. Ahab had him. Had him dead to rights. And Ahab let him go. Said, I'm going to let you go in peace. And then Ben-Hadad later turned around
and shot him in the throat.
Shot him in the throat. And did invade the land and took some of it. Took one of the major cities.
Mm-hmm.
Now, go on through the lineage a little bit. Big brother, he comes to the throne after Ahab goes. Joram gets into the throne. Ben-Hadad comes back into the picture again. It was Joram that slayed Ben-Hadad. Much like Bill Clinton had a Ben of his own. He had a Bin Laden. Bill Clinton had Bin Laden in his sights. Had people there saying, can we take him out now? We're looking at him. Let's do this.
And Bill said, no. Not let him go in peace.
Let him go in peace. Wasn't very long after that, the first World Trade Center bombing took place.
That was the truck bomb down in the parking garage.
Right. And then just, 3 years later?
Here come the Twin Towers.
Here comes the Twin Towers. Ben-Hadad came back and laid siege to a city, metaphorically speaking. Joram, Barack Obama, gets into office, and it is he that has to deal with Ben-Hadad. Bin Laden. See, they're all overlapping so well that it ain't hard to get them mixed up. It really ain't.
And now we come, I think, to Jehu.
Yeah. All right. So Joram's on the throne, right? Joram, again, he was really digging the whole idea of Baal. He loved his mama. He his mama showed him all this Baal stuff, and he really went for it.
And his buddy Jehu.
Yeah, his buddy
was actually, I think, he was in the chariot
behind Ahab. Yeah. So
on the day when Elijah told him, "Hey,"
he saw that all go down. So Jehu is out in the field. He's a military guy, right? He's real brash. He's loud. Not very many. He's one of these people that plays hard to like. He's real blunt, and he's kind of a brute.
Kind of the bull in the china shop.
Yeah.
Of the political sphere.
So God tells Elijah, all right, this Joram cat's getting out of hand.
Actually, by this time it's Elisha.
Yeah, Elisha. So he tells him, okay, look it. I want you to go to this guy named Jehu. I know what he's like, okay? But I want you to go to Jehu. And I want you to run up in his tent, throw some olive oil in his face, and say, God says you're going to be the new king of Israel, and then run out. Just take off running. So that is exactly what happened. He sees Jehu out on the battlefield, and he's like, I need a word with you, man. Jehu says, okay, well, let's go in my tent here. They go into the tent, blam, splash him with olive oil. Hey, God told me to tell you, you are now the king of Israel.
Gotta go.
Go handle your business. And he's gone. Just took off running. Jehu walks out of the tent. Everybody's standing around going, what was that all about? What was he talking about? Jehu said, all right, look it. Y'all gather around. I'm going to tell y'all what he said. Jehu told him what he said. He said, all right, who's with me?
He went and grabbed Melania, walked down the staircase and said, I'm running for president.
That's right. And thing is when Jehu went to the people, went to his soldiers, went to everybody that had been fighting for Joram, and told them, look, I used to be one of them. I know exactly what they're up to. Look, they got y'all out here fighting these people, and y'all ain't getting nothing out of it. Tell y'all what, let's go get this heifer. We're going to go get Joram, and we're going to go get his mammy. God said, I'm going to be the king of Israel. We're going to see. So he gets his people, and they take off. Now, Joram, he's sitting back up in the palace, right? He's chilling.
But now, wait. You got to tell it from the chariot ride.
I'm getting to that.
Oh, you're getting there. Okay.
He's sitting up in the palace, and he's chilling. He's looking out over the balcony. Jehu, and I sort of understand it. If God tells you go, Jehu had already heard about Jonah. See, I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably.
I'm guessing he done heard what happened to Jonah. God told him to go. He got on a chariot and he took off. Matter of fact, he was going so fast and kicking up so much dirt and dust that Joram's chilling up there in the palace looking out over the balcony and can see him coming. And when he seen the dust coming up, the messengers didn't even have to tell him who it was. He knew who it was. Now, how do you know who it was, man? How do you think he knew what was going on?
Well, because he knew Jehu. He knew that Jehu was a crazy chariot driver. He knew down in his soul that this was his doom coming down the road.
Mm-hmm.
You know how? Because he knew he had it coming.
That's right. So, there's Joram. He's sitting up on that balcony. He sees him coming. He goes down. He goes to meet Jehu. Much like, when Ben-Hadad came to Ahab, he had said, so what's it going to be? It's going to be peace? It didn't work out, did it?
No, it didn't work out.
So Joram rides up to Jehu and says, well, what's it going to be? Is it going to be peace? And Jehu more or less said, yeah, just like your pappy did. And whack, shot him. Drug him back on to the chariot. And said, we're going to take him just like, God said that his family's blood was going to be at this place. Because you remember, and he was telling the guy, I can't pronounce his name. It starts with a J2, and it's like, blah, 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 blah. But he says, remember when we was riding in a chariot right behind Ahab? And when Elijah came and told him, Wow, this like deja vu all over again. Here we go. Dumps his body down right there. Then he says, we're going to go get that heifer.
Yeah.
He goes to the, he can see Jezebel chilling up there in her window. She's watching it all, she's seen what was coming too. She knew that she was about to get dealt with. So she painted herself all up real pretty, goes standing there at the window, insults Jehu a little bit, and Jehu says, all right, who's with me? Y'all know she been treating y'all like crap. Throw that heifer down here.
And somebody did.
The eunuchs did. Now, if I was a eunuch, I wouldn't have minded doing that either. Somebody done cut off my yoo-hoo.
Now, here's where, again, this whole metaphor just fits.
Right?
Because who was it that threw Hillary Clinton to the wolves? Basically a bunch of eunuchs.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. It's kind of funny how the things overlap that way. And when you put it into context, you got Obama in office, right? He's had Hillary as his Secretary of State for a while. He's brought her on, and it was almost a foregone conclusion that when Obama was done, Hillary would get to ascend to power. Except for a man named Donald Trump.
And let's not put too fine a point on it. God. Because who was the most unlikely candidate to run for president that announced way back then?
And he was brash. He played hard to like. He was very blunt.
That wild chariot ride that Jehu took.
Mm-hmm.
Can we not say that the ride
across the country
that Trump took to get to the White House, that was one wild ride, y'all.
That you could see from a mile off because he kicked up dust all along the way. And that's, it gets there. There's even more juicy goodness in that story, man. And like with when Trump first announced that he was going to run, there was a deluge of people making fun of him. No, it ain't going to happen. I mean, there's montages all over YouTube of reporters and celebrities laughing and saying this ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. Sure enough, it was Donald Trump that had Hillary cast down into ruin. Her political career is over. It's dead. Now, you can't really tell that right now because it's still fresh and she's still out in the news trying to be relevant. But the coverage is different. It went from let's everybody love Hillary to, man, this heifer's crazy.
She still just don't get it.
She just don't get it. We're not telling you this story to say that, look, this is some kind of prophecy or anything like that. Again, this is to reiterate that history will repeat itself if we do not learn the lessons from it.
And see, the whole thing about Jehu is he really only put off the judgment of God upon Israel. Jehu
messed up.
Well, but he
bought them 27 years.
Yeah, he bought them some time.
27 years.
So what are we supposed to learn from this? Not necessarily that we only have 27 years. We have a window of opportunity.
We've got a reprieve.
And a window of opportunity to repent.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we go back to 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14. We bring it, it's funny how so much of the time everything turns around and comes right back to that verse, even when we don't intend, because we didn't even talk about this
That's
tonight.
Right.
But here it comes back around again, that we've got this window of opportunity, and God is faithful to keep his promises. Every time that the nation of Israel turned around and truly repented, God lifted judgment off of them.
Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't until now. There's only so many chances that they got, though.
And then it was what, 700 years?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, just well, shoot, longer than that if you want to really look at from 70 A.D. to
1948.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
So, eventually God gets sick and tired of, offering us chances after chances after chances, and we still spit in his face.
Mm-hmm.
And who was it back in the Bible who kept doing it? It was his people, Israel. The United States was founded,
as the new Israel.
Yes, as to be in the image of Israel.
And no matter what Chuck Todd says, our founding fathers believed that our rights were inalienable,
given to
us by God.
And so I would like to see the United States, that God's people in the United States
take a knee?
Yes, in the best way possible. Take the knee in the fashion that Tim Tebow took a knee.
In prayer. Like, in other words, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves, taking a knee is one of the greatest signs of humility when it comes to praying, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. What's the rest of it?
Then I will hear from heaven, I will forgive their sins, and I will heal their land.
That's all there is to it. It's really as simple as that.
And folks, we can ask you to pray for something specific. Pray for a revival of the Holy Spirit in God's people.
Because the only way it can spread is through us.
Yeah, because it's not those worldly people. I mean, rest in peace, Hugh Hefner, and all that. Okay, but we know that Hugh Hefner is probably not resting in peace at this time.
No, but the smoking jacket is appropriate.
Yeah, it's probably smoking right now.
All right, guys, we got to get out of here. It is that time. We appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll be back next week, though, right?
Yeah, we're going to be back next week. Hopefully, we're getting our little video and, paywall house in order. But, folks, it just ain't as simple as we thought it was going to be.
Not when we're doing it all by our lonesome. So, we'll see you guys next week. Y'all be good.
We love you. Good night, y'all.
And you still can hear me singing to the people who don't listen to the things that I am saying, praying someone's gonna hear. And I guess I'll die explaining how the things that they complain about are things they could change, hoping someone's gonna care. I was born a lonely singer, and I'm bound to die the same, but